Hello, everyone. Few minutes early. So I thought I would pop on and just check in, make sure everything's okay. Because, no, see, I'm all confused. I feel like I'm reversed. And I feel weird. I feel like I look different in here. Yeah. So this is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube. I've gone live in other places, Facebook and Instagram and obviously Zoom and whatnot, but I've never gone live here. So this is a learning process for me as I try to figure out how to make it all work. I wish I could reverse my camera. Because this is my right hand. This is my left hand. Yeah, I'm all flipped. Oh well. Oh well. Turn it down. Did I just turn down the volume a moment? If somebody hops on, they'll be able to tell me if you can hear me or not. And if you can't hear me, then we'll fix that problem. So I'm just going to sit here and shuffle my cards till somebody pops in. And then we'll start chatting. That's where we're at. That's where we are at. I don't love this camera. I do have another one. I have like 3 laptops, couple cameras. I'm just going to type in. Just typing. Capital. Oops, can't spell cat. When you come on, just type your question in capital letters. Because if you're just chitty chatting, then pin message. Okay, there we go. All right. If we're just chatting, that's okay. But if you have a question and you want a card pulled for you, then I need to be able to see it. So if you type it in capitals, then I will actually be able to see your question. And we're just 2 minutes from 4 o'clock. I think this is working. I see the chat. This is a dashboard I've never seen before. So I'm like, what is this? And my hair is all weird. I'm getting my hair cut on Tuesday. It's dire. Anybody with short hair will tell you got to get it cut every 6 weeks or else it starts to get a little, unless you're growing it out, or else it starts to get crazy. My stylist usually does such a good job that I don't have to come every 6 weeks. I can usually go about 8, and it's been 8. It was the middle of September the last time I got my hair cut. So it's time. It's time. And it'll be over 2 months when I see her. Oh, there we go. And you can see it's like grown out of the style. It's too long in the back. She said her mom has the same problem. Like her mom has short hair and it gets pushed up at the back, which isn't so much fun. So yeah, that's where we're at. Sitting here talking to myself. But I am early, so that's okay. Somebody did tell me that they actually put it in their schedule to be here, so fingers crossed they do make it. And we'll give it about 15 minutes. If nobody shows up, then we'll just stop and we'll try again another day. I got a baby channel, so I'm sure YouTube's not pumping me out to the world right now. I'm sure they're oh, there's someone here. Who's here? I just saw the little thing told me someone just jumped on. So when you jump on, say hi, so I know you're here and I can say hi to you. And if you have a question, just pop it into the chat. If you are just chitty chatting, then just regular typing is fine. But if you actually have a question, just type your question in capitals, and then that way I'll actually be able to see it. Because, you know, if the dream of having 5,000 people here comes true, The chat's gonna move fast. So. Mm, mm, mm. So if you don't type anything and we don't have a conversation, then we're just gonna sit here like this, and I'm just gonna shuffle my cards till 4:15, and then I'm gonna go because I got plans for dinner, and then I'll just be early for dinner. Mm, mm. Jamie's Cowboys. I had to wait. What did you need to wait for? What did you need to wait for? Oh, because you needed to be a subscriber. That's right. Thank you. That just dawned on me now because you needed a minute to be able to type, I think, or something. Yes, got it. Got it. Jamie's Cowboys. Whereabouts are you in the world? And that wasn't like a digging question to find information. Just curious to see where we're all from. I'm in Canada. I live in Ontario. Is that California or Canada? Oh, I see somebody else has hopped on. So they'll be getting set up and ready with the countdown to be able to California. Ooh, so how's that going out there? Are you happy with how things have gone, or are you upset right now? I think a lot of California people are either going to leave or be really upset right now. I wonder who the other person is. This is so fun, guys. Now there's somebody here, but no, it's like almost waiting for like to be able to open your birthday presents. So the deck I have today is the same one we're using this month for November. It's the Oak, Ash, and Thorn deck, and it's the link to it is in the description. It is an affiliate link, so you'll be able to grab it on Amazon. I did actually try to get an Etsy affiliate account, but they said my YouTube is too small and they don't work with small businesses. I was like, okay. Okay. When you have a question, just pop it into the chat and then I'll pull a card for you. And I really appreciate everybody who's joining because this is like I needed the practice. I needed to learn how to be live, how to actually go live because there's so when you try to figure out when you're learning how to use YouTube and to have an account and put up videos and everything, there's a lot of like the marketing end of like how to write the right captions and how to, take videos and da 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 da. But there's no like, how do you actually do this? How do you actually connect it all together? And so I had to Google and try to find how to go from the live that I scheduled to actually being live because I was like, what if I'm a minute late? Like, will it just go live and nothing's happening? Or do I have to do something? Like, there's no real instructions for how to do this. So Jamie's Cowboys has asked, do you know why my friend stopped communicating with me and is never going to happen? And is it ever going to happen anytime soon? So I guess you want your friend, you don't want this friendship to end, is what you're saying. And I know that I know how that feels when somebody just all of a sudden stops talking to you and you don't know why. A couple years ago, I had that happen where like so many people in my life just stopped talking to me and I didn't know why. And it's hard. It's so hard because it's like, well, if I did something or said something, I'm can be just as offensive as everybody else. Like tell me so that we can talk it out so I can apologize and know that what was upsetting and it's just weird. Like even I have a cousin who I believe it's because he knows he did me dirty and that's why he's not speaking to me. Rather than apologize, he's just started not he just a couple years ago stopped speaking to me. And it's hard. Yeah, you miss her. It's hard. It's hard. I will I'm going to mom you right now. I'm gonna mom you hard right now and say, no matter what this card says, if somebody is in your life and they suddenly won't speak to you and won't be a grown up and have a grown up conversation about why they're upset or what's going on, you don't need this person in your life. This person's not good for you. Okay? I know it's I know it's easy to miss somebody. Like I strangely enough, this happened a few years ago with someone and I ran into them today walking into a dollar store. And then she was like, "Why are you avoiding me?" I was like, "Are you kidding me?" You know what I mean? I was like, "Really?" And then we kinda had it out on the sidewalk. But it was like and then but when she stopped speaking to me and then, like, that was that, I had no idea what was going on, and I missed her a lot. And I said that to her. I've got the sun in reverse. This tells me that she's on a healing journey and she cannot deal with it. She can't do that. She can't deal with herself and everybody else. And she knows herself that she's incapable of being a good friend right now. She's and it's she needs to be on a healing journey that and she's not doing the work that it takes. Because if she was, she'd be a grown up and she would be able to communicate that. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be able to say to people, um I'm going through some stuff right now. I just need some time and space to kind of deal with myself before I reintegrate into society and friendship and everything. And just to be able to have that conversation, like that's some emotional maturity. But the sun in reverse is it's very much like she needs to be on a healing journey and she's not, and she's bullshitting herself, and she's again, like, do you what did something happen? Was there anything that you think that maybe um, she did that maybe she feels kind of guilty about that you haven't found out about? And for all the new people who just joined, just, if you have a question, just put it in capitals, please, so I can see it. Because if the chat starts moving, then I'm really gonna have a hard time. Does she miss me? I think she does. I think she misses herself, and I think that she misses you as well. Like, sometimes we go through things or we have experiences and it changes us so dramatically that we actually miss ourselves. We miss who we were before that moment, and we can no longer be that person that we were. So I think she misses herself and she misses you. But she definitely has there's a lot of sadness here. There's like a lot of this is like tangled up in ego. And I'm wondering, like, are you the kind of person who has really high expectations for your friendships? Like, you expect your friends to be good friends because you're a good friend? Because there's maybe an element there that she knows maybe that she's not as good a friend as you need, and she doesn't know how to express that. She could also be going through a physical thing. But definitely this I'm gonna pull another card because I wanna know a little bit more about this. I've got the intuitive Tammy. Hey girl, how are you? Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for joining us. I've been running around all afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to check out your videos yet, but I have bookmarked them, so I'll be able to watch them tomorrow while I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. But Jamie's Cowboys, I think there's like one of the concepts connected to the sun in reverse is miscarriage. And that could be like an actual physical miscarriage, or it could be like things going off the rails, right? Like a miscarriage of justice or something like that. So there is definitely that element of unfairness there. Um Ace of Swords in reverse. I'm gonna look up and see if there's a timing for that to see what we have there. Ace of Swords, nothing. But it's definitely I think that your friend is, yeah, she's definitely pulled back. She's but I think it's that she doesn't. I'm just gonna explain. When I get messages from my guides and my team, they come on this side, and then it's like a concept, and I have to sort of distill it down into something that makes sense, that I can actually articulate. So I think that there's been a miscommunication. There's something has happened, definitely. Yeah, you're saying you're not waiting anymore. Are you not waiting for this situation to resolve on its own? Are you saying that you're gonna just reach out and talk to her? Because I think that's a good idea. Because our Ace of Swords here, this is about communication. This is about like starting something. This is that first communication. So you may have to take the bull by the horns and be the one to reach out, which I know takes courage. And I'll tell you what, this came up in my reading on the other day. What reading did I do the other? I can't remember, but it was about this time of the month, like this would not this time, this time of in our history, the energies around this, which is that there would be a message from somebody. So it could be that you're to send the message or someone's going to send you a message. So she's not answering. What if you just go to her house and just say, "Hey, like, can we just talk for a minute? I just want to know like what I did wrong." I would start with that. Yeah, and let's see what else we've got here. Six of Swords, the walking away. Let's look at this. See if we've got some timing here. January 30th to February 8th. It could take that long. It could take a few months to sort of resolve itself. But yeah, she's you only met her on YouTube. Oh. Oh. So she's like, yeah. Internet friends when I know how this feels. I've had internet friends that just vanish. And it's hard. It's hard because sometimes real life friends don't give us what our internet friends need. And but she's definitely going through something. Absolutely, she's going through something. There's something in her that she needs to resolve. This has nothing to do with you. The strong message is coming in. This is all about her, and um this is she has to tend to herself. So I would definitely just be patient. And if she doesn't come around, because sometimes time just goes on so long that it's hard to reach out again and say, "Yeah, sorry, I haven't talked to you in a while." But this January 30th to February 8th, so the first week of February, if we're going to hear anything from her, it's probably going to be then. And so you may just have to ride it out for a while. But yeah, that's really sad. That's really sad. I hate when people do that, but and it's weird. This conversation I had with somebody today, that same thing. Just stopped talking to me all of a sudden and then now wants to be friends, and I was like, you never told me what the problem was. You didn't tell me why you stopped speaking to me." And she's like, "Well, I was going through so much and everything else." And I was like, "Well, if you had just said that, then at least I wouldn't think like, what have I done?" Which is ego. That's our egos talking. So let's remove ourselves from the situation. Instead of saying, "Why is she not speaking to me?" A better question may be, and a more explorative question may be, what's going on with her that she's not speaking? And is she posting on YouTube? Is she engaging with her audience and only you? I know I wouldn't do that either. Yeah, I get it. That you wouldn't treat somebody like that. I know, because like, yeah, empaths, we don't we don't we tend to over explain ourselves. um but yeah, I would say this is definitely something very much about her. The word miscarriage keeps coming, so it could be a situation where she is actually having a miscarriage, or she feels that there's something quite unfair going on in her life. And that there's definitely, but it's her. It's nothing to do with you. This isn't a personal thing for you. she needs to deal with herself and whatever's going on in her life, and it sucks. It sucks. But, there's a whole big community here, and people, nobody comes on YouTube and creates an account and doesn't want to talk to people. So, you will find there's lots of people to be friends with and lots of people to talk to. And, I'm always here. I'm always a friendly shoulder. And I do love to chitty chat and have conversations with people all over the world. So, which YouTube is like the best place in the world for me, really, little chatterbox. So yeah, how does that feel? 7 months you were friends. Yeah. Yeah. It's a long time, but not a long time. You know, I had a friend for last year for about 6, 7 months too. And she betrayed me repeatedly. And I just couldn't do it anymore. So I get it. It really hurts. Really, really hurts. And that was a real life friend too. So yeah, it hurts. Are you okay? How are you feeling about all that? And while you're typing that, I'll just come back to there's 3 people here. So jump in and say hi. If you have a question, just type it in capital letters so that I can see it because you'll see like the lowercase is just chitty chat. And Tammy, if you've got a question, just pop it in there and I will stay. I'm here till 5 at the latest because I've got dinner plans. So I've got to get downtown and meet my friend to gossip about Harry and Meghan. Oh, well, Jamie's Cowboys, please stick around. You know, lots of people talk to me on here. I get, comments all on all kinds of videos, just not even necessarily about what the topic of the video was, but just like people like to chat. So by all means, please stick around. And yeah, you want to walk away, but you can't. Yeah. I think what just came in is like, yeah, you want to walk away to protect yourself, but there's also that concern for her that you're like you don't you don't want to leave somebody while they're down, you know? But here's the thing, it's going to be how it's going to be. And if she comes back around, great. And if she doesn't, then, it's one of those things sometimes we just have to release people and let them go. And when relationships end, it's often because there's nothing left to learn from each other. Everything that you were meant to teach each other, you've done, and then the relationship doesn't need to exist anymore. So it could be that as well. But yeah, stick around and we'll see what else. You can always reach out to me. All my links are in the description of every video, so you can always find me easily. And then we'll stay in touch. I'll be your new YouTube friend. Of course, Jamie's Cowboys, of course. And do you have your own channel where you do readings as well? No. No. And do you do readings, like, do you do in-person readings? I'm just curious because you said you're, clairvoyant, which I am not. I have got a bunch of clairs, but that's not one of them. Although I guess I shouldn't say well, yeah. I mean, I've seen a ghost. I was sitting at a writing class and, there was a bunch of us in the room, and I live in an old Victorian town, and I'm sitting there, and we're in the living room of the writing teacher's house, and, like, a ghost walked through the room, and I looked around at everybody, and nobody reacted, and I was like, "I guess I was the only one who saw that." I guess no one else noticed that, like, this man, this, like, very, like, transparent man, and I could tell by the clothing he was wearing, he was, like, from the 1800s or something, and he just, like, walked through the room, and I thought that was pretty cool, but I was disappointed that nobody else saw it. And I couldn't even say anything because everybody else just carried on with the conversation like nothing else happened. So you don't know how to use these gifts? I am actually, I think maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday night, maybe Monday, and then over the next couple of days, I'm going to be recording a video, which is sort of an intro to um, using your psychic gifts. So it's like for people who know they have gifts, but are like, I don't know what to do. And we're going to start from the very basics. Um, and that's going to go, I'm hoping to have that up next week. I got to, this week has been so weird and weirdly busy. And I'm all sort of off kilter because Monday was Remembrance Day here in Canada. And I'm a minister. So I was leading the service up at the Legion, and so that was Monday, which kind of felt like Sunday, so the whole week I've been, like, off by a day. So on Tuesday, I thought it was Monday, and on Wednesday, I thought it was Tuesday. So I've spent the whole week constantly checking what day it is to know, and then it's been weirdly busy, so I think tomorrow I'm gonna sit down and get a bunch of videos recorded so I can pop them up for next week, and that psychic one is in the top 5 on my list. So it'll definitely be out next week. I did all the slides for it so yesterday. So I just need to get it recorded. So that'll be there for you. And it's just, it's like pretty, like, simple things that anybody could do. So you'll probably, it's a good starting point for you. And I would just, in terms of intuition and working with your clairs, of course, Jamie's Cowboys, of course, anytime. I would say just trust yourself. That my readings just, they went from, they're okay to, like, through the roof when I just started blurting out whatever was coming to me, whether I understood it or not. And I'll give you a great example. In the spring, I read for a group of women. Um, there was 5 of them, and they each got a reading with me. They got about 20 minutes with me each. And the one woman at that table was in the middle of having a miscarriage. And I knew that. I knew through the conversation because I said, she's like, "Well, I want to know about my career." And I'm like, "Well, the cards think you have a health situation going on." And so I said, "Is it about pregnancy?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Are you having a miscarriage?" And she said, "Yeah." And so it was like 2 or 3 days before. So it was very fresh and real. And so I told her, like, and that was just information that was coming to me because I was like, I don't know where this is coming from. It's just, I'm just blurting it out. And oftentimes they say things that make no sense to me at all, but the other person is like, "How could you know that?" So definitely trust what is coming in. Like, when if you're hearing a name, if you're getting something, just say it. And the more you do that, and you're right, the more confident you'll be. And the more you trust your guides and your angels and your ancestors, whoever is giving you information and messages, the more you trust them, the more they'll give you. And that's what I have found. So this woman, I'm telling her, "This is about your pregnancy. You're having a miscarriage." She's like, "Absolutely right." And I said to her that she would start to feel like she was healing in July, August time, like in the hottest part of the summer. And I said, "Something big is happening in March for you." And she sent me an email a couple days ago and she said, "Remember you told me all this?" And I said, "Yep." And she said, "Well, in July, I found out that I'm pregnant and my baby's due in March." She said, "So everything you said was bang on." And she's like, "I have no idea how you could have known any of that, but you're bang on that every prediction you made was exactly right." So there we go. I just wanted to know who set me up on something I never did. Whoever you immediately think it is, that's who it is. That that when you're like, "It had to be this person," that's probably who it was. That's definitely probably who it was. I shouldn't definitely probably. Well, that was vague, wasn't it? But yeah, it definitely, and this is the thing, when you're getting your instincts and your intuition are telling you something, it's not wrong. And you just, sometimes it's like, "Well, how could it be this person?" You just need to figure out how. But if somebody set you up, that I know who set you up on something I never did. Who set me up on something I never I don't know. I don't well, yeah, I mean, I think if we were on a call, just the 2 of us, in a sort of a different energetic setting, I would probably be able to get more information about this, but I don't know. You know, though. You know. Whoever it's who you suspect. Mhm. 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 Tammy, are you still here? Who else is here? It says there's 2 people, but I don't know who else is here. It doesn't show me. You do know. Yeah, you know. You know who it was. Trust your instincts. If that little voice in your head is saying it's so and so, then that's probably who it was. Or if it wasn't directly them, it was indirectly them. Because you know how sometimes, you talk to people and you trust them and then they go yip yap and they tell someone something, that person used that information. So the catalyst is the person you suspect it is. It might not be the person who did it, but that person is the catalyst for it. They kind of got the wheels in motion for whatever's happened. Mhm. Mhm. Let me just see. Mm. You're welcome, Jamie's Cowboys, of course. I'm gonna do more lives. I've got to get better at being live. You wonder why they did it? Because they're jerks. Here's the thing. Our ego tells us that they did it because of us. No, they did it because of them. They did it because of them and their ego. And there's all kinds of drivers. There's envy, there's jealousy, which are two different things. But there's people, like they say, hurt people hurt people. I don't believe that. People with low self-esteem hurt people. People who don't take accountability hurt people. People who are fighting for their lives hurt people. They're jealous, yeah, which is such a stupid emotion to have. Honestly, it's so stupid. Really, why be jealous of anybody? Like they say, like if we all tossed our problems in a pile, we'd all be taking our own problems back, right? We all think the grass is greener. And it's something I've noticed in life, like how and this is why our internet friends are so important to us, is because usually our real life friends don't support us because we've all come from the same place, and when we're flying high, they see they're not, and then they don't want to support any, and it's like, I'd take you with me. Do you know what I mean? Like that's um I remember a couple years ago saying to one of my friends, like, I have, on my vision board, like, I want to take a limousine into the city and stay at one of those posh hotels with the rooftop pool. And, they bring us, salads and snacks and drinks. And I want to, get fancy swimsuits and, have this like really luxurious weekend. And I said, I just when in the vision, I'm by myself. And she said, I'll go with you. And I said, well, you better be part of the vision then. And she didn't support me in any way at all. So she wanted to ride in the limousine, but she didn't want to ride in the bus with me. So yeah, there's a lot of people who don't like to see the people around them rise, and they will do anything to feel better about that. And oftentimes, instead of taking accountability and saying, well, I should be looking at this as something aspirational, they say, I'm going to cut this person down then, so I don't have to feel bad about myself. So a lot of this behavior comes from their own their own feelings about themselves, their own shitty feelings about themselves. So yeah, of course you wouldn't do that. Of course you wouldn't. I think Jamie's Cowboys, it would be beneficial for you to do a little bit of shadow work. Um and really kind of go back, like, I know that we all say, well, we wouldn't do that, but we've all had our moments in our lives when we've been less than wonderful, and maybe don't even realize it, or maybe don't clock it that other people received it that way. But it would be worth exploring, like, do a little, time travel through your life, and see, like, has there ever been a moment that I have done something similar and not taken accountability? And I had to do that myself a few years ago. I was finding myself in a situation where I was just being let down over and over and over by people, and I was like, "What is going on here? Like, why is this across the board with everybody? It's so consistent. Like, what is going on?" And I decided to do some shadow work and discovered that, "Oh, wait a minute. There was a moment when I did this to somebody back like 25, 26 years ago, and I really let somebody down." It ended the friendship. It ended a 20-year friendship, and that I let them down. And I thought maybe I had healed just because time had gone by and I wasn't thinking about it, but then realizing doing the shadow work, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I should really deal with that." Kind of deal with my own BS, my own shiz. And and so I did. I had to explore why I behaved the way I did and sort of investigate that. I also had to forgive myself for what I did. I didn't aggressively do something. I just aggressively didn't do something and really let someone down. And so, and then I wrote that person a letter. I wrote them a letter, and I was going to contact them on Facebook and ask for their address. And when I looked on their Facebook page, there was a memorial card, and her man had died like a week earlier. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna send this right now. I burned it. I read it a few times and then I burned it and forgave myself for what I had done or not done. Really, was what it was. Had not done. So it's always worth exploring ourselves. Yeah, I do the same thing. I do the same thing, Jamie's Cowboys. If I yeah, when I feel hurt, I hide. I go in my little cave to lick my wounds. I hermit. I go back into my lair, my fortress of solitude, and just disconnect. That's a that's something from childhood. I was listening to something, and it was saying that when you're hurt, if you isolate, it's because when you were little, your parents didn't give you what you needed when you were experiencing pain and loss and frustration. I think that's what it is that you were basically left to deal with yourself by yourself and didn't have anybody to help you process your emotions or talk things out. So that's, as adults, that's what we do now, is just retreat and hang out at home alone rather than deal with our emotions and ourselves. Yeah. I think somebody else just hopped on. So when you hop on, just say hi. Let me know where you're watching from, where in the world you're watching from. I am in Ontario in Canada, and we're just talking to Jamie's Cowboys. So they do miss me, the talks and visiting. Yeah. Well, I think even when somebody's being a jerk and they suddenly aren't speaking to you and everything else, yeah, of course they miss you. Like this person I ran into today. I thought she hated me, and she's like, I miss you so much. And like the last time we spoke was 7 or 8 years ago. And I'm like, "You've been missing me for this long? Really?" Like, it was weird. So, yeah, I think they do miss you, and you miss them. And, but sometimes things just aren't forever. And sometimes somebody is meant to teach us a lesson. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but that's what we're here for, the lessons, and to learn and grow and expand and experience the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's how sometimes we get this way. We get end up in these situations. Oh, I see more people. Oh, lots of people are jumping on. When you jump on, just say hi. I know you're gonna have to wait like 60 seconds to type. So just let the countdown run down and then say hello. I'll be here for another 25 minutes doing readings. And if you have a question, just pop it into the chat in capital letters. Jamie's Cowboys, I'm just going to ask you to switch to lowercase unless you're asking a question, just now that there's more people here. And then that way I'll be able to distinguish the actual questions from chatting. hmm hmm So if you have a question, I'll pull a card for you and we will see what comes out. It's been a little while. Like, what's today? The 15th? Oh, I guess it's been 10 days since the election. And things, I want to say things are calming down, or maybe just the algorithm isn't showing it to me anymore. Because I think it's just, yeah, for a few days there, it was just nonstop everything. And now I'm not really seeing that much anymore. We're sort of back to more what I usually see in my algorithm. And then, of course, the clock's changed, so we're still stumbling around in the dark at 5:30 at night. I guess it's gonna be dark soon here. It's 4:37 right now. So yeah, it'll probably be dark in the next half an hour or so, maybe about 5:30. So stay or walk away. Listen, if people are not serving love, you can get up from the table and walk away. You know, like here's how I look at it. If somebody's life is so bonkers that they can't even tell me that they're going through something, then I probably want to run a mile because I'll get dragged down in that downward spiral unless they actually want help and are willing to do the things to get themselves out of that. So that, yeah, you that's a decision that's entirely up to you. I mean, we could explore this deeper in a full reading. It's just sort of hard not kind of knowing the entire situation. But this friend that stopped talking to you, she's definitely going through something that she's retreated into herself, just the same way you retreat into yourself. So why stay friends on Facebook then you don't? So this friend has stayed friends on Facebook. Well, is she the kind of person who has 10,000 friends and doesn't even know who's on the list? Or does she have like 50 friends and she would know every single one of them personally? So she has a small group. Well, I think has she been posting on Facebook? Because if she's not posting and engaging with anybody on Facebook, she could just be totally off the internet altogether. So, mm, so she's not posting. Yeah. Yeah. Because she's dealing with something and she's retreated back into herself and she's probably not talking to anybody. She's probably pulled away from everyone in her life to deal with whatever it is that she's dealing with. So, mhm. Oh, everybody else left. Nope, someone just jumped back on. Once the system will let you, when you just get here, once the system will let you, just please leave a comment so I know you're here. And if you have a question, just type it in capitals in the chat and I'll pull a card for you. And I'm here for another 20 minutes. Mhm. Aw, thanks, Jamie's Cowboys. I appreciate you. I love that you've hung around all this time. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, and here's my little dog. Do you wanna come up, puppy? Come on. You gonna jump up? Do you wanna come up? Do you need uppies? Oh, I'll pick you up. There's my little dog, my little sweetie puppy. This is Fox. He's my little rescue dog. He actually came from Texas. Yeah, puppy. I love you. Hmm. Yeah, my little Texas dog. He's so funny. He's very shaggy right now because I haven't had him groomed for a little while. There we go, puppy. Hmm. Yeah. So if nobody has any questions, then we're just gonna chat. Then we're just gonna chat. Can you say hi, Fox? Yeah, he's like, "What's going on? What's going on, mummy?" There we go. Does anybody want to talk about Donald Trump? I heard a really wild conspiracy about Melania, which has piqued my interest. I love a good conspiracy theory. Go ahead. So I've only seen one person talking about this, and it was someone in Australia. And she said that someone had brought this to her, and then she started kind of exploring the idea and maybe connecting some dots. And as I was listening to her, I was like, hmm, hmm. Like I'm not gonna say no on this one. But the conspiracy theory is that Melania is a dominatrix. And at first I was like, where are we getting this? And then as they kind of went through everything, and then like I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say yes, because I don't know. But I thought, well, that's an interesting one. I haven't I hadn't heard that one before. And I thought, wow, that's quite an interesting idea. And I think, unlike so many other presidents' wives, she did not sign up for this. She was the wife of a real estate mogul and a developer and everything else. And yeah, nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. And quite honestly, I don't care. I don't really care. I don't tend to worry too much about that kind of thing. I don't, like when somebody is gay, I don't care. I'm a Gen Xer, so I've got that like Dilligaff thing. I don't care, and as long as you do a good job at whatever it is that you've committed to do. So as long as whoever is a good president, I don't care what their sex life is. It doesn't matter to me. Um, but I thought that was a pretty interesting thing to ponder. And it would make a lot of sense because I do know that a lot of these like high-powered men, when they get home, they don't want to be high-powered at home. They want somebody else to be the boss at home. So that kind of makes a lot of sense. And then there were other points that this person was hitting that I was like, "Hmm, it could just be what it is, or it could be more." But it was a fun little journey through um Melania Trump's videos and images over the years, and the way she's carried herself and the way she's done certain things, and um, the way she dresses and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I think she's gorgeous. I think she's probably a very interesting person. She's probably got an interesting story. I don't really know it, but I know that the part of the world that she comes from. has not always been that pleasant. So I bet she's got some interesting stories about how she got from there to here, and or to America at least, and life in the Trump universe and everything else. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting one. People love to tell me the conspiracy theories, and I just love it because I have such a wild imagination that I could just go all over the place with them. Mhm. Do you know what's so crazy? People keep hopping on and then leaving and not saying anything, and so I'm like, "Okay, well, if you don't like that I'm not pulling cards for you, then ask a question." Pretty simple. Say hi and ask a question. But yeah, I would definitely say that this person that you are wondering about, it's them. They're just they're feeling stuck in their life. You like it here? Like you like it here like in my channel? Aw, thank you. Yay. Well, I think we're going to be great pals as we chat about all things crazy going on in the world. Harry and Meghan are up to all their mischief as always, so I'll probably read on them again next week and see what's going on, because Harry is in a dilly pickle, that's for sure. And he's you know what keeps coming to mind when I think of him is that Tom Hanks movie where he's in the airport. He's like a Eastern European, and he's like in it at an airport, and while he's in between flights his country collapses, and like he literally doesn't have a country or a citizenship, and he ends up having to live in the airport, I think, for years, because if he left the airport he would be a criminal. So it's sort of neutral territory being in the airport. And this is a real story. This is based on a real person in France, I believe. And he died just a few years ago, I think. I would have to look up which year he died, but he died probably of an illness or old age or something. But that's how every time I think about Harry and this situation that he's in right now, that's what comes to mind is he's a guy with no country. You know, he can't go back to England and be part of the royal family. He would just have to go back and be a regular guy, and there's a great chance that his father has enough control and power that he could say, "No, no, you don't get to live here. You don't get to enter the country." I think that King Charles has banned Meghan Markle from entering the UK. I think there's some diplomatic red flag on her passport or something. And he's, he left and he went to South Africa where the Spencers have a home. So he was probably with them, but it's like one of those things nobody really knows where he is right now, I think including Meghan. And because he doesn't have a country, Donald Trump's probably going to get rid of him. I don't think he's like high on the list of things that Donald Trump wants to do, but I think that um that eventually it'll come down when deportations and immigration and things like that. The hammer will come down on him. When I went through a huge trauma when I lost my grandma, can you figure out why I can't remember? I was cleansed of the attachments in my memory bank. Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't have memories of that time when your grandmother died? Mm, mhm, mhm. Um, I think it's kind of like childbirth. Most women don't remember much about it because if we did, we'd never have any more children. The human race would die out. So I think it's kind of similar that your your brain protected you by sort of erasing some stuff that would just be much too hard for you as a human to handle and process, and it just got rid of it. Just said, "Yeah, this won't help you." And it just got rid of it. Just to protect you, really. You lost how to drive. Wow, that's pretty wild. Yeah, trauma is a pretty spectacular thing. And it's I have CPTSD, and I didn't realize until somebody asked me, like, when we were talking about it, I can't really remember much of my childhood. I have, like, little tiny flashes and snippets, but I really don't remember much of my childhood, and that was apparently when you have PTSD, like, especially specifically CPTSD, you don't remember your childhood, it's just erased. And, there's just some kind of peak moments like that movie, what was it? Inside Out, The Core Memories, like, there's just a few of those, and occasionally they get unlocked, but for the most part, I don't remember much of my childhood, and that's would be because of trauma, and, so I would say that your brain was protecting you, um, because it's too much, like, it's almost like you'll break, like, your brain will break sometimes, and that's like, I truly believe that amnesia is preventing your brain from breaking. That, like, yeah, I don't know a better way of putting it, but it's like there's things you can't come back from, and if you're not meant to experience them, then your brain will literally protect you from them. If that was not part of the plan. And of course, we have everything sort of planned and contracted of the experiences that our soul wants to have and everything else. But as humans, we also have free will. So um, I would say that whatever happened, however you got caught up in it, if it was not part of the plan, I would say your brain wiped it out for you, so that you would kind of have to start from a blank slate and not have that. But yeah, a lot losing how to drive. How fast did it come back? Like, were you able to drive again? Did it come back? So you've not been able to drive again. Oh, wow. That's kinda brutal. What if you took driving lessons, would you be able to relearn how to drive, or is it just that skill is just gone? Mhm. But you could relearn it? Wow. How did your grandmother die? So now I'm just being nosy, but there's a method to the madness always. And I see a couple more people have jumped on. So just say hi. Let me know where you are in the world. If you have got a question, type it in capitals, please, and then I'll pull a card for you. I'm here till 5 o'clock, so just 6 more minutes. And I'm just chatting with Jamie's Cowboys about all kinds of things. Anybody who's fresh on the call now will have to go back to hear about the Donald Trump conspiracy theory. Hmm. Hmm. Did you have did you have an aneurysm or like a mini stroke or something? Hmm. No. Wow, that's wild. That's really wild. Yeah, like, I was thinking maybe, like, if your grandmother died, like, in a car crash or something, or an accident of some kind. Yeah. Well, grief is an all-consuming, exhausting, heavy emotion. Yeah, she was in bad. Hmm. So I guess she was, like, old or ill and needed care, and you were taking care of her, and she died in her bed. Hmm. Mm. Well, that's really sad. But yeah, trauma and grief and all these things, they do crazy things with our minds. And it's wild to me how the things I remember and the things I can't remember. Can't move on, you've tried. Well, have you seen a therapist? You may need psychiatric help to sort of untangle it all. Yeah. And what did they say? Time. Yeah. When did your grandmother die? Mm. So it's been a little while. 2020. Yeah. Yeah. That the grandmother relationship is such a special one. Even at my own son, he was 10 when his granny died, and he said to me that was my childhood trauma. Poor little guy. He's 16 now, but yeah, we still miss her. But yeah, it's the death of somebody that important is yeah, it can be just debilitating. But I would say you just have to keep moving forward. You just have to keep inhaling and exhaling until you can do it without thinking about it, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Mm. Well, Jamie, I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. And I'm just here for another couple of minutes. And if anybody would like a card, speak up now. Quick, quick. Otherwise, I will log off at 5 o'clock and then head out on to my evening out. Oh, Kimberly. Kimberly, I had that problem the other day. It took forever for me to actually be able to to comment on it in a chat on a live video. So yeah, it's frustrating sometimes. Florida, nice. Nice. I like Florida. I've been there a few times. I've been to St. Pete's, I've been to Palm Beach. Palm Beach is so nice. Oh my gosh. So nice. So Kimberly, would you like a card? I'll pull one quickly for you if you've got a question. Oh, well, thanks for jumping on and saying hi. Jacksonville. Oh, I've never been in that area. I've never been in that area. But yeah, I'm in Canada, so to get to Florida is a little bit of a hike. I think it's like a 24-hour drive. And even though it's like a 3-hour flight, it's a 10-hour flight. By the time I get to the airport and get to on the plane and blah 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 blah, it's a full day journey to get there. So it's not somewhere. I think the last time I was in Florida, ooh, I wasn't even married. I think it was the summer of 2003. So that was like 21 years ago, a long time ago. But yeah, I remember I spent New Year's Eve in Palm Beach. That was a lot of fun. And and I can't remember the name of the place that we stayed in, but it was just like West Palm area. So it was really nice. But thanks for jumping on. I'm gonna try to do weekly lives at different times of the day. Yeah, Palm Beach is so nice. Oh my gosh. I remember I was there, I think it was Christmas of 2000 or maybe 2001. I think it maybe Christmas 2001. And it was so cold. And the house I was staying in, I was with the guy I was dating, and his mom had a house in Palm Beach, and it was so cold that she had to turn the heat on, and she was saying that she had one of the only houses in the area at that time that had heating, because no one in Florida needs heating. And but we were like shivering, bundled up in blankets on New Year's Eve, sipping champagne. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, not surprising. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to check out my other videos. There's all kinds of things there. I've done readings on Harry and Meghan, readings on Donald Trump, the Bidens. Plus, there's lots of spiritual stuff there. There's you know what, Tia? Can you save your question, please, and jump on the next live? I'm going to do a live next week. One day next week. I will put it up. I'll put a notice up ahead of time so you'll be able to catch me, and then just save your question because I actually have to head out the door. So, of course, Jamie's Cowboys, of course. And yeah, Tia, please stick around and then just jump on the next live and we'll get that answered for you. We'll see what's going on there. Kimberly, thank you so much. Stay warm in Florida. Is it getting cold there? I can imagine it is. I can imagine it is. So thank you, everyone. Don't forget to check out the other videos and leave comments. Let me know what you think, especially, on my pick a card videos. I love hearing what card everybody picked and what landed for them. So yay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful evening. Take care of yourselves. Have a magical day.